The secret life of the bird of paradise. Deep within the rainforests of Papua New Guinea, where warm mist drifts endlessly between ancient trees, and sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor beneath layers of tangled canopy. One of the most extraordinary birds on Earth lives almost completely hidden from the world, the bird of paradise. For most people, its existence feels almost mythical, a creature of impossible colors, living somewhere far beyond the reach of ordinary human life. Yet inside these humid tropical forests, its world is not built around beauty, but survival. Every morning, before the rainforest fully wakes, the jungle already breathes with movement. Tiny insects drift through the heavy air. Water droplets slide slowly across giant leaves. Distant bird calls echo between enormous moss-covered trees. And warm fog rolls quietly through the canopy like slow-moving smoke. High above the forest floor, an adult male bird of paradise waits silently on a branch polished by years of rain and wind. At first glance, he almost appears unreal. His feathers shift color beneath the changing tropical light, deep emerald, burning gold, midnight blue, and sudden flashes of crimson appearing whenever sunlight breaks through the canopy overhead. Long ornamental feathers move gently behind him, reacting independently to every change in the humid jungle breeze. But inside this rainforest, beauty alone means nothing. A single careless movement, a sudden sound, or one moment without caution can end a life instantly. Predators move silently here. Tree snakes coil invisibly through vines. Forest eagles circle high above the canopy, and even the weather itself can become dangerous. Heavy rain, violent wind, or days without enough food. All shape the fragile rhythm of survival inside the tropical forest. Not far below, a female bird of paradise moves quietly between darker branches beneath the canopy. Unlike the male, she carries no bright colors, no glowing feathers, no elaborate ornaments. Her soft brown plumage allows her to disappear completely into the shadows of bark, moss, and wet leaves. While the male survives by attracting attention during courtship, the female survives by remaining unseen. She pauses often, listening, watching, allowing the forest to move around her before taking another cautious step. The rainforest never becomes truly quiet. Leaves constantly tremble beneath invisible insects. Water drips from branch to branch. Small creatures move through distant foliage, and warm wind continues pushing slowly through the layered canopy. As the wet season begins to calm, the breeding season slowly arrives. Far above the forest floor, the male bird of paradise begins preparing a display branch. Again and again, he removes leaves, moss, small twigs, and anything that blocks the light from reaching his stage. For days, sometimes weeks, he performs entirely alone, raising ornamental feathers, stretching wide wings, turning carefully beneath filtered sunlight, and producing soft territorial calls that echo faintly through the rainforest. The movements are not rushed. Nothing is exaggerated. Every display follows an ancient instinct repeated across countless generations. Nearby, hidden among dense foliage, a female watches silently. At first, she keeps her distance, studying every movement carefully. The male continues his performance beneath shifting sunlight while drifting mist rolls slowly between the trees. Eventually, after repeated displays, the female accepts his presence. Soon after, she disappears deeper into the rainforest canopy, searching for a safe nesting location far from predators. High above the jungle floor, hidden among tangled branches, thick leaves, and hanging vines, she begins building a small cup-shaped nest. Using wet moss, fine plant fibers, and thin rainforest vines, she carefully weaves each layer together. The nest is simple, but perfectly hidden. Even from nearby, it is almost impossible to see. Days later, the first egg appears beneath her feathers. Then, after more quiet waiting, a second egg follows. For nearly a month, the female rarely leaves the nest. Warm tropical rain passes continuously through the canopy above, Fog drifts silently between giant trees, and distant thunder rolls across the rainforest horizon. Meanwhile, the male returns to his display branch, continuing the endless rhythm of rainforest life. Inside the hidden nest, the eggs remain motionless beneath the warmth of the female's body. Then, one humid morning, small cracks begin appearing across one shell. The first chick slowly emerges into the world, tiny, fragile, and almost featherless beneath the cold rainforest air. Soon after, the second chick hatches beside it, their eyes barely open, their bodies covered only in soft, wet down. Every movement is weak, unsteady, and completely dependent on the protection of their mother. From the beginning, life inside the rainforest is dangerous. The female now spends her days searching constantly for insects, small fruits, and anything soft enough for the chicks to eat. She moves carefully between branches, always alert for movement above or below. Rain continues falling regularly through the canopy. Warm fog drifts through the forest at sunrise, and the hidden nest rocks gently whenever wind passes through the trees. As the chicks grow, small feather shafts begin forming along their wings and backs. They start standing awkwardly inside the nest, stretching tiny wings and peering beyond the branches surrounding them. The rainforest around them never stops moving. Butterflies drift through shafts of sunlight. Ants crawl across wet bark. Distant birds call endlessly from hidden locations within the canopy. Weeks pass slowly. The chicks grow stronger. Their balance improves, and short movements between nearby branches become possible. But survival in the rainforest is never guaranteed. One afternoon, while warm mist hangs low between the trees, a tropical forest eagle suddenly appears through an opening in the canopy. The attack lasts only seconds. Branches shake violently, birds scatter through the forest, and then silence quickly returns. One chick disappears into the jungle shadows. Only one remains beside the female. After that day, the surviving juvenile becomes more cautious. It freezes whenever distant movement disturbs the leaves, listens carefully to unfamiliar sounds, and learns how to move safely through the dense layered canopy. Months continue passing. Its flights become stronger, its feathers brighter. Hints of iridescent color slowly begin appearing beneath the humid tropical light. Soon, the young bird no longer follows its mother closely. It searches for food independently, explores unfamiliar sections of rainforest, and sleeps on distant branches far away from the original nest. As adulthood approaches, the young male begins developing the brilliant colors of a mature bird of paradise. Long ornamental feathers grow slowly behind him, catching flashes of gold, green, and blue whenever sunlight breaks through the canopy. Deep inside the rainforest, he eventually begins cleaning his own display branch, repeating the same ancient behavior once performed by the male before him. Far below, the rainforest continues breathing endlessly. Mist drifts through giant tropical trees. Warm rain falls across endless layers of leaves. Insects move invisibly through humid air, and hidden lives continue unfolding beneath the canopy. Eventually, the young bird of paradise disappears deeper into the forest, alone, fully independent, and completely adapted to life inside one of the wildest ecosystems on Earth. And somewhere beyond the drifting fog, beneath ancient trees and moving rainforest shadows, another male quietly waits on a branch above the canopy, while somewhere nearby, a hidden female watches from the darkness. And once again, the ancient cycle of the bird of paradise begins.